Tucker Carlson is no longer a Fox News guy. Tucker Carlson is in the wild. He's roaming the internet streets, or tweets. That's right, he's on X. And he does interviews with known celebrities such as Ice Cube, Bill O'Reilly, and even Donald J. Trump. This week, Tucker had an interview with Vivek Ramaswamy. This was their second interview. He must really like Vivek. During the interview, Tucker Carlson and Vivek started to talk about Israel, Gaza, and Palestinians. And he said some things that really pissed off Ben Shapiro.
And I thought the videos from southern Israel were morally outrageous, and I was offended by them and saddened by them. Anyone who saw them, I think, was. But you don't have to look far in the United States for moral outrages also on video. And there's not a city in this country, not just the big cities, but cities of 10,000 people, I was in one yesterday, that doesn't have some constellation of drug-addicted young people living outside. We call them the homeless, they're drug addicts. And they're addicted to drugs that were imported across an open border, allowed by the Biden administration, and they're dying, more than 100,000 a year. Now, you could call it genocide, you can call it whatever you want, but it's the death of over 100,000 Americans a year and the living death of millions more who are living outside. So sure. I don't understand. People are outraged by what happened in Israel. And again, I want to add my voice to that because I'm a human being. But the scale of the outrage among Republican presidential candidates was so much more intense. One of them took to a bullhorn and started yelling about it. I get it. But no one would think to do that about the 100,000 American young people murdered every year, and they are murdered, honestly, by
give me a bullhorn for that one.
Like,
Chuck.
what?
I'll take my bullhorn for that one. And let's just go a little bit deeper on that one.
So Vivek wants to go a little bit deeper with the bullhorn, huh? I say we run a Boston. That's right, folks, you just saw what you thought you saw. If what you thought you saw was Tucker Carlson pull a whataboutism on the Jewish community, that's not something you're going to see every day. They just poured a whataboutism on the Jewish community. Did you hear me? See, whataboutisms is something that's usually reserved just for black issues. You know, we bring up how the Democratic Party hasn't actually fulfilled any of our requests from our community in 40, 50 years, and they say, but what about Ketanji John Brown something? We say, what about our hate crime bill? And they go, what about Kamala Harris being VP? What does Ketanji and Kamala got to do with anything we're talking about? We say, what about the cops killing black people in the streets? And they say, what about black on black crime? Tucker Carlson did that, and it did not sit well with Ben Shapiro. Ben Shapiro lost his mind.
To a bullhorn and started yelling about it. I get it. But no one would think to do that about the 100,000 American young people murdered every year. And
because who are you yelling at? Who are you yelling at? First of all, people are on bullhorns yelling about drug overdoses and the open border all the time. All the time. What is he even talking about? What he's attempting to is minimize what happened in Israel. He's not attempting to maximize what happened in the United States. He's attempting to minimize, as though America can't walk and chew gum, morally speaking, at the same time, which is absurd. And those two things are nothing alike. I'm sorry, that is not alike. It is not alike for drug smugglers to smuggle drugs over the border, which someone then takes and shoves into their arm and then they die of an overdose. That is not the same thing. I promise you, it is not the same thing as a terrorist breaking into your home and murdering your children in their beds in front of you and dragging your wife off to be raped in Gaza. That is not the same thing. Pretending that it is immoral. It's a moral blight. It's idiocy. It's just moral stupidity at the highest level. Of course we should care about what happens with fentanyl. Of course we should care about, we should close our border. Have I been unclear about this? Of course America should have closed borders when it comes to this sort of stuff. I'm on the same side as Tucker on that. I just don't understand why he's not on my side when it comes to Hamas has to be wiped off the face of the earth.
Wow. A little testy there. Getting a little emotional, aren't we there, Ben? So here goes the point why I wanted to bring this story to you. I wanted to show you the hypocrisy of these white guys. All three of them. Yeah, I want to show you the hypocrisy. You know, I've never seen Tucker really be that really concerned about fentanyl. Now that he can undermine can undermine what's going on in Israel, yeah, well, now's a good time to pull this out of his ass and pretend he really cares. He didn't even see that upset now. It seemed more like, hey, well, what about this? But Ben Shapiro, dude, you're spitting mad because this affects not you, but people that look like you, people that worship like you. And let me tell you this, Ben, when we talk about black issues, what's going on with black Americans, you never seem to be so concerned. In fact, you minimize anything that's going on with black people and you basically flip it around and turn it and say, it's your own fault. Yeah, it's your own fault, black people. You put yourself in this position if you would just fix the culture. If you would just be more present with your children. And totally leave out the massive wealth gap between blacks and white folks. Totally obliterating the real cause behind crime, behind the situations that black people find themselves in a country where they have been dog degraded and stuck to the bottom by a system that's systemically racist and geared for failure for black folks. You can't deny a group of people for several generations the ability to build wealth. And then when they don't have wealth and they go, how are we gonna make it? How are we gonna survive? Do you say, well, whatever you do, it's your fault? Whatever you're going through, that's your fault. And we just wake up in the year 2023 and we act as if black people didn't exist before that. And that the policies that America has implemented over the last 300 years have no actual impact to what's going on now. So, Ben Shapiro, I really want to feel sorry for you, but I can't. I know, actually, that's not true. I don't want to feel sorry for you at all. And I don't feel sorry for you at all. What I do want to say is that the killing of any innocent people, any civilians, is wrong. But see, I'm a better person than you. I'm not going to look and try to find a way to say, hey, you brought it on yourself, because that's what you do to us. When I say, hey, do you realize that black homeless rates are 3 and 7, 10 times higher than the national average in some states? I never seen you wet a tear. Now, nothing leaks from your face when I tell you that. When I tell you the death rate of black women giving childbirth is 3 to 4 times higher than white women, I never seen you ever be the least bit concerned. In fact, what I get is I'm being divisive, I'm playing victim, or some other shit. And it's not just from you, Ben, but for people that worship like you do, and people like Tucker and Vivek. So this is why I say I wanted to point this out, because I want us to take a look and to see exactly how hypocritical they are and exactly how they act when they give a damn about something. See, when they care about, when Ben Shapiro feels like it's his people, he's livid. He's upset. He's pissed off. He's never that way about anything else. He wasn't upset when Tamir Rice got his head blown off, 12 years old, in daytime at a park with a toy gun. They never shot anything because it was incapable of shooting anything. It was an actual toy. I don't remember Tucker or Ben or Vivek or any of these assholes ever getting upset at all about that. 23-year-old Elijah McClain, whose story we're going to get to later, killed by cops, given a lethal dose of some stupid-ass drug they should have never gave this young man. I don't remember the outrage from these guys. But when it's their stuff, when it's their people, they get upset. This is why I got a license to get ill if I want to. Yes, black people do never feel like you got to cut down the volume on your outrage. Because if you're not outraged about black death, no one else will be. No one else will give a damn. If you don't sound the alarm, no one else will sound the alarm. So I'd also want to be sure that people understand, I get it. When you see certain black folks with a high volume about what's going on in Gaza and very low volume about what's happening to black folks. That's different. Tim Black gets loud for our issues every week. That's what I do. So those rules that you can't be concerned don't apply to me because I get upset when I see injustice. Period, point blank. But I tend to get louder when it's my black people too. But I don't turn the tables and say, that's what white people deserve. No innocent civilians deserve to get slaughtered. Innocent civilians don't deserve to get slaughtered. But that's been happening in Palestine, taking people's homes, kicking them out of them homes, putting them in an open-air prison, denying them health care, pursuit of happiness. That's an apartheid situation. So, yeah, that's a problem. So anyway, I just thought it would be interesting to address it. I want you to see how Ben Shapiro behaves when it's him, when it's his people, how he behaves. And remember how he acts when black people get upset. Oh, black people are so excitable. Why are black people so emotional? Why? Because of 300 years of trauma, sir. 300 years of trauma handed down from my ancestors. The frustration of living in a place where people act like they don't understand what you're upset about. It's right there. I don't know, put it in the comment section what you think about this. If that makes sense to you, what I'm trying to point out, if you get my point about the hypocrisy of our Jewish friend here, Ben Shapiro, and I don't know what Tucker Carlson is. He's just a jackass, but he's look, it's bad form. It's bad form when people are so isolated that they can't see beyond their own noses. All they see is themselves. And they show their hand, how they really feel, what's really going on. But I just think it's amazing that Ben Shapiro, we got a rise out of him because he felt insulted. Yeah. But they don't put themselves in our position when we're upset about things. When we're upset about the constant, and I do mean constant, the constant hypocrisies we face, the constant discrimination. We built America for free against our will, and these assholes act like we just got here last week, and then we have no claim, and there's nothing for us to be upset about. It's amazing. It's amazing. It really is. That's why we got to continue to sound the alarm, Johnson. I'm going to keep sounding the alarm. I don't care how pissed off they get at me. It's a wrap. They come to the wrong place if they think I'm going to be calm. Until a black child is actually treated the same as a white child, we're going to have beef. And I'm going to be calling it out. As I should. And I'm not looking for pats on the head or attaboys. Just know that's my purpose here. So, Mrs. Black's like, you're like you're like an anti-defamation league for the blacks. You're like a one-man anti-defamation league. And I want to be that because I think that black people let things slide too much. Vivek Ramaswamy, Tucker Carlson, Ben Shapiro, 3-piece chicken with all biscuits, no chicken. How you gonna have a 3-piece with no chicken at all in the basket? I got home, there's no chicken, it's just 3 biscuits. Doesn't work. Comments, guys, put a 1 up if you understand where I'm coming from. If I'm making any sense at all. I don't want to just be ranting to myself here. I want to know what you think. Do you think it makes sense that I'm making this an issue? Put a 1 up if it makes sense, and I'm just for calling them out. I think you agree with me, but I just want to know, guys.
Hey, family. You've been listening to an excerpt from Tim Black's Black Table Video podcast. Tim was in his bag tonight. Look, why not become a VIP member? Starting at only $5 a month. It's affordable and easy. Get exclusive content first. And support Black independent media that's not tied to a political party. Go to jointimblack.com. And as always, don't let nobody take your cornbread. When they ask, why do you subscribe to The Tim Black Show? Just tell them, it's a new day.